everyone, it's Dr. K, writing under oath. I'd like to introduce you to my literary hero, whose name is Ayn Rand, or Ayn Rand as she's popularly known, but her first name is actually pronounced Ayn, it's A-Y-N. She immigrated from Russia to escape radical communism, and once in America, she became an extremist liberator and radical thinker for democracy and the freedoms which we now share. And that is what she wrote about for her whole life. Her books sold more than 26 million. Many of them are frequently in the top 100 sales ranked books. Her most famous book is Atlas Shrugged, about a man who is going to destroy the world and change intellectualism as we know it. He would stand for freedom itself in terms of how democracy is manifested in life and our country. She wrote a book called The Virtue of Selfishness, and this is an examination of her philosophy called objectivism. She described objectivism as a philosophy for living on earth. I think of it as a philosophy for writing, a literary philosophy. She wrote two books, which I consider manifestos for writing. One is called The Art of Nonfiction, the other is called The Art of Fiction. Both of them draw on Aristotle's invention of rhetoric and composition. She bases much of her philosophy, maybe all of it, on Aristotle's poetics and rhetoric, his ethics and his politics. She makes them more accessible by writing nonfiction scenarios in order to bring them to life. But her objectivist philosophy is particularly interesting for writers. The overview of it involves several points. One is metaphysics, that deals with objective reality, epistemology, which deals with reason, ethics, which deals with self-interest, and politics, which is about capitalism. In her idea of metaphysics, under the umbrella of objectivism, she states that reality, the external world, exists independently of our consciousness, independent of any observer's knowledge, beliefs, feelings, desires, or fears. This means that A is A and facts are facts, that things are what they are, and that the task of our consciousness is to perceive reality, not to create or invent it. So objectivism rejects any beliefs in the supernatural and any claim that individuals or groups create their own reality. This is opposite to what the pragmatists believe. They base reality on perception, and reality can change based upon who's doing the perceiving. But in Ayn Rand's world of objectivism, reality is what we see. A table is a table, a lamp is a lamp, and this is all there is. And this is important for writing nonfiction, because in order to describe an object in the world, the description has to match the object. The abstraction has to be connected to the object. In Ayn Rand's category of epistemology, she says that reason is the one source for understanding the facts of reality, our ability to reason. It is the conceptual faculty, the faculty that identifies and integrates the material provided by our senses. So reason is our only means of acquiring knowledge. So objectivism, epistemology, rejects mysticism, faith or feeling as a means of knowledge. It doesn't mean that we can't feel, it just means that feelings are not a way to integrate knowledge and meaning into our understanding. It rejects skepticism, the claim that certainty or knowledge is impossible, because knowledge is possible based upon metaphysics. The next one is human nature. We are rational people. Reason is our only means of obtaining knowledge and our basic means of survival. So the exercise of reason depends on our choice, our volitional consciousness. This relates to her book called The Virtue of Selfishness. That which we call our soul or spirit is actually our consciousness. There's no mystery here. The consciousness is created by the brain. It's what's called the mind. And what we call free will is our mind's freedom to think or not. The only will we have, our only freedom. This is the choice that controls all the choices we make and determines our life and character. So, human nature in objectivism rejects any form of determinism, the belief that we are victims of forces beyond our control, such as God, fate, upbringing, genes, or economic conditions even. We are not victims because we're rational and we have the freedom to choose to do one thing or do another. The next category in objectivism is ethics. Since reason is the only judge of values and our only guide to action, the proper standard of ethics is that our survival, that which is required by our nature for our survival as rational beings, is our basic virtue. And the three fundamental values are reason, purpose, and self-esteem. We are an end in ourselves, not a mean to the end of others. We must live for our own sake, neither sacrificing ourselves to others or sacrificing others to ourselves. We must work for our rational self-interest with the achievement of our own happiness as the highest moral purpose of life. In the politics, the next category in objectivism, Ayn Rand says that the basic social principle of objectivist ethics is that no person has the right to seek values from others by means of physical force, that the only social system that bars physical force from human relationships is capitalism. Capitalism is a system based on the recognition of individual rights, including property, in which the only function of the government is to protect individual rights. So, objectivism rejects any form of fascism or socialism, even a mixed economy, that the government should regulate the economy and redistribute wealth. That is completely and totally rejected in the politics of objectivism. Finally, aesthetics, that art is a selective recreation of reality according to an artist's metaphysical value judgments. The purpose of art is to objectify the artist's fundamental view of existence. She called it romantic realism. I present people as they ought to be. I am realistic in the sense that I place them here and now and on this earth. So the goal of her novels is not didactic, but artistic. The projection of an ideal person. The first cause and prime mover is the portrayal of Howard Rourke or John Galt, the heroes of her most popular and best-selling novels, Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead. I think that her philosophy of objectivism is crucial to writing nonfiction, to writing under oath. Thanks for listening, Dr. K.